Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to look at the SNAP registration process, and we'll also look at how do you apply to the respective institutes that fall under Symbiosis University. So let's get started. Now the SNAP notification came out a few days back and the registration started on the 5th August. So the registration, let's look at some of the important deadlines that are there. So regarding the registration deadline, it is going to happen on 22nd November. So you have to do your registration prior to that. In the description of this video, you're going to find a link using which you can start your registration process, and I'm going to walk you through the whole thing. The admit card for the tests that are there is going to be released on 2nd, 9th and 15th December, respectively for the tests that are going to be conducted on 8th, 15th and 21st. So SNAP is conducted 3 times and you can take all the 3 attempts if you want. So either you can go for 1, 2 or 3 attempts. As we discuss, of course, we'll talk about how many attempts you should be taking. The announcement of result is going to happen on the 8th of Jan. Now regarding SNAP, one very important thing that you need to keep in mind is they don't do normalization, right? So they have clearly mentioned that if a candidate appears for more than one test, your best score is something that will be used for the calculation of the percentile. Okay, so you should ideally be taking more than one attempt if you are somebody who is very serious about symbiosis. Now for now, what we'll do is we'll get into the exact registration process. So let's start. And prior to that, I'm going to talk a little bit about the format of the test. So SNAP hasn't changed the format, whatever they have been following for the last several years. They have continued the same format. It means that you're going to have 60 minutes and 60 questions. The questions are bifurcated as general English, you have 15. Analytical and logical reasoning, you have 25, which is the dominant section. And for quant, you have 20 questions. So you have 60 minutes, 60 questions. The marking scheme is +1 minus 1/4, right? So there is 1/4 negative marking that is there throughout all the sections of the test. So to begin the registration process, as I said, you're going to have a link in the description. You can click on that and start your registration process. This is the first screen that you will see when you click on it. And once you click on it, you're going to have SNAP ID, email ID, password and CAPTCHA. Now, because we are registering for the very first time, you'll have to click on this option which says register. Now once you click on this, let me show you what all screens you are going to see. So the first thing that you will see is this, which is your personal information. So this is the information once you enter. You will not be able to modify this information. And that is why you should ensure that you are not making any mistake at this point of time. So you start with the applicant name, and they have clearly mentioned that it has to be written the way it is on your 10th, 12th mark sheet or certificate. Post that, you have to enter your date of birth. Again, it's a simple drop down. Then you have to enter your mobile number, something that you use often, and then primary email and retype the primary email that you have. Then you select the category. Now there is one line that they have given there which is very important. So those of you are thinking of applying to SIMS, which is one of the institutes that falls under Symbiosis University, then for SIMS there is a specific category for defense personnel. That is something that you have to select at a later point of time. So right now here you will see options such as general, SC, ST. But for SIMS, you have to select at a later point of time, which I'll talk about. And then if you are an international student, again, they have given some important points there. So international students are required to register on a different website. So that is something that you will have to do. For Indian nationals, this is the website that you are supposed to use. So you select the nationality. Are you an NRI candidate? Yes, no. Whatever is the appropriate response, you can select that and start the registration process. So once you fill this information, you're going to get an OTP, right? Or rather, prior to that, you're going to select a few more things. So the first thing that you'll have to select is going to be the test option. So this is a very important thing, right? Because here you will have to select the test that you're going to take. Now, by default, all the 3 will be selected. You're supposed to deselect the one that you don't want to take. For example, let's say by default, you will see tick everywhere. Now let's say I don't want to take the second snap, which is on the 15th December. I can deselect that, which means that I can appear for snap 1 and snap 3. Now let's say if I want to appear for only one snap, I can do that. I can select whichever one that I want to apply for. But because there is no normalization, right, as we saw in the beginning, that they have clearly mentioned that there won't be any normalization, it means that it is better to have at least 2 attempts. Okay, now whether to go for 2 attempts or 3 attempts, that's your call. But I would suggest that if you're somebody who is very, very serious about getting into symbiosis, ideally you should be looking at 2 attempts. But if you think that, okay, no, symbiosis is one of the institutes that I'm considering it's not a priority for me, then maybe one attempt may suffice. But if you're very serious, the recommendation is to go for 2 attempts. 3 attempts, it's your call whether you want to do it or not. Now, what you also need to do is you need to select the test city. Now here, once you select the test city, it will show whether it is available or not available. Now if something is not available, we don't know at what point of time it may become available. So it may not be available, we don't know that, and that is why it's important that you fill the form as early as possible. One of the things that they have also given in the detailed brochure that they have released is that filling the form earlier increases your chance of getting a test city of your choice. Okay, so if that helps, ideally you should try and register as early as possible. So if the general question that we typically get is, let's say I select only one snap here, can I add another snap later? Let me answer that question for you. The answer is yes, you can do that. So here, let's say for example, I've chosen only snap test 1 and I go ahead in the process. Later, if I want to add one more test, will I be able to do that? The answer is yes. I'll show you where is that screen where it is possible to do that. For now, you can select the snap that you want to take, whether it is 1, 2, 3 or a combination of that. Select the test city in which you want to take the test, and once you're done, just upload your current passport size photograph. Now they have mentioned that the name, date of birth, category, photo, test date, test city, all of this once saved cannot be changed. So if you make any mistake in your name, you will have to register again, for example. So that is why just ensure that you have put all the information accurate. Once you are certain, you can go forward. So you can click on that and move forward. Now once you're done, once you're done, what's going to happen is you'll get an OTP, and there's OTP validation. And once you're done with that, you will get a Snap ID and it will show you your email ID. So on your email, you're going to get a confirmation with, okay, this is your Snap ID, and your Snap ID becomes the unique identifier. So for the rest of the process, your Snap ID is something that they will use. You click here to make the payment. So that is going to be the first screen that you will see. So it will ask for payment before you do the rest of the form filling and the institute selection. So this is how that screen looks. On the left hand side, you will be able to see Snap ID. You will see your photograph as well that you uploaded, and then your name, email ID, category and date of birth. Now what it is showing on the right hand side, this is basically the fee that you need to pay to take the snap, right? So if I have chosen one snap, it is going to show me 2250. If I have chosen multiple snap, it is going to calculate it accordingly and then show me the value. Okay. So because I had chosen one, it is showing me 2250. So 2250 is for taking the snap. The institute application, you'll have to pay extra. It is 1000 per program. We'll talk about as we progress. Okay. So for now, you can complete the payment process. It's a very simple thing to do. Nothing much there. You scroll down at the bottom, you will be able to see something like this. Now on this, at the bottom, you're going to see firstly not paid, right? So if I have not paid at this point of time the 2250, it is going to show not paid. I can click here, make the payment. Once I make the payment, I'm going to get a payment mode. So let's say online, credit card, whatever, the date on which you made that payment, and you will have a PR number there. Okay, so you're going to have that PR number or transaction ID, one of those two will get populated once you have made your payment. Okay, so that is something that you will do as the first thing. So what we have completed so far is the payment process for the snap. Okay, we still are yet to complete the rest of the snap form and the application to the institutes. But because these two are integrated, it becomes very easy to complete everything in one go. Now once you have made the payment, we'll go forward, and on this you will see okay, your payment is done, transaction successful, your receipt number and all of that. You'll also get a confirmation of this in your email ID. Now moving forward, so now we'll fill the rest of the form. Now how do you do that? So as we saw, on the left hand side you have a section where you see something called My Form, right? You click on that and then you have the rest of the factual information that you're supposed to fill. So starting from the first one, whether you have work experience or not, one good thing about Snap form, which is what I like, is it's very short, very crisp. They don't ask a lot of information. So here they're not asking, for example, what is the name of the employer, right? You just have to select yes, no, if you have it, if you don't have it, and you have to calculate it as on 31st May 25. So a lot of students ask, how do I do this calculation, right? I don't know whether I'll continue to work or not. Simply, if you know, let's say if you are somebody who has already quit, you know what the last date is going to be. But if you are somebody who is currently employed, you operate as if you're going to work till 31st May 2025 and enter the information. unless you're somebody who has decided that, okay, no, I'm going to quit my job in November, mostly 31st December is going to be my last date, so then you can enter accordingly. But otherwise, you calculate it as on 31st May 2025 and then enter. So very simple thing, you can just move forward to the next part of it, which is, and all of this is on the same page, so there's no separate section that you have to go to. Then comes the educational details. Again, very simple, straightforward. So 10th marks, and what you need to do is for conversion, whatever is given by the university or the board, you follow that particular system. If nothing is given, you can just calculate it as opt-in divided by maximum and then calculate the percentage. You're supposed to enter up to 2 decimal places, same for 10th and 12th. Then highest qualification, whether you have completed or not. So I have written bachelor's degree there. Whatever is applicable, you can put that. I think master's, PhD are some of the options that they have given. Then aggregate percentage of UG degree, again following the same methodology that is there. And then UG education type, qualifying degree, and then university name. Now at any of the places, if something that you have done is not available, you can simply select others and then specify what it is, right? So here, for example, I've chosen university name as others and I've just written the name of the university. Okay, so again, very simple section. You can move forward to the next thing. Now this is where a lot of students have questions, and I hope this discussion will help you to understand how things work. So here you are going to see a long list of programs, right? So for SIBM Pune, for example, you can see 2 programs, MBA at SIBM Pune, MBA in Innovation and Entrepreneurship at SIBM Pune, and all of that. So these are all individual programs at respective institutes. There are total, I think, 27 programs that are listed here, right? Now you may be thinking, which one should I apply to, right? So firstly, cutoffs, if you go by the past year cutoffs, you know which are the preferred ones, right? So of course, SIBM Pune is generally the one that is the most preferred. So everybody who is taking SNAP is aspiring to get into Symbiosis Pune, which is SIBM Pune. Then of course you have SCM HRD Pune, so that could be second preference for some of you. Some of you may be thinking of SIBM Bangalore, for example. So depending on what is your aspiration, you can decide which institute, because if you go to any of these institute websites, you will be able to see what all information that you need, right? So you can go to the respective website, check it out and figure out if you want to make an application or not. Even on IMS India website, we have a list of top business schools, and we have done a categorization which should help you in deciding which one are the most preferred ones or the better ones, and then you can apply accordingly. Do I have to do it at this point of time? The answer is no. You can come back to the form, let's say after a few days, and fill this. Okay. So for each of the programs that you select here, you will have to pay 1000 rupees, and till the time you make that payment, your application won't be complete. Okay. So far we have just paid for SNAP. We haven't applied to the respective institute. I'll show you how it will look if I just select, for example, SIBM Pune. So I'll select one college and show you how things will look. But if you do multiple selections, of course, it will show you as a list, and you just have to make the payment to complete your application process. So it is clearly written that you may select as many programs as you wish to apply to, and this can be reviewed and updated prior to payment. The registration fee per program is 1000 rupees. For now, let's move on, and I'll show you what the next set of questions look like. Now, depending on what you have chosen, right, it is going to ask a follow-up question to you, right? So, Nagpur domicile category for MBA SIBM Nagpur program. Do you wish to seek admission under Nagpur domicile category? Yes or no, right? So, they have seats that are reserved for Nagpur domicile candidates, which means while making that choice, you have to figure out whether you want to wish to apply in that category or not. Now, MBA SMS category, as I said, defense personnel, so you can select that. The follow-up question is his or her wing or service details. So depending on which program you're applying to, there could be some mandatory requirements, there could be some optional requirements. You have to see whether you fit into that or not. Okay, so just read through it. The brochure clarifies this nicely, so you go through the entire brochure, you will see all the information that is needed. Okay, for now I just made a couple of choices to show you how it may look, but I would suggest and request all of you to go through the information brochure that is there. It is clearly given as to what are the requirements for each of the programs. If you satisfy that, then you apply for that particular program. Okay. Now there is next section which is about the address. So very simple, nothing much to do here. Just enter your correspondence address, line 1, 2, 3, city, state, pin code, phone number. The alternate email ID, you have to give something which is different from what you had used at the time of registration. It's a mandatory question, so you will have to give a second email address as well. And this is the screen where what I was referring to some time back, that you can add a test if you want to. So let's say at the time of registration, I had chosen only one test that I'm going to appear only for SNAP 1. But if I want to add another test, right, let's say I want to take SNAP 3 as well, I can do that. So I can click there and add one more test. Okay, so that option stays with you even after you have made the payment for the first SNAP that you have, right? But just ensure that you have the deadlines in mind. You have to complete all of this before the SNAP deadline. Okay. We'll move on to the next part, which is at the bottom of the screen, you will be able to see two more questions. Whether you want to be considered for Symbiosis Dubai's MBA program, and then you have to, it will show you your photo, so you can upload the, I think you have the photo, they just show it there. I don't know why they have given this question again, but I think they have given it maybe because if anybody wants to change it. Okay, I didn't try it because whatever you uploaded at the beginning, the same photo is visible there. Then comes the document upload section. Okay, so if you are somebody who is a general category and then there are no documents that you need to upload, but let's say if you are somebody who falls under DA, SC, ST or KM, you will have to upload the relevant document. Okay, so they have given all the details there. The document can be a doc, docx, JPG, JPEG, whatever. So they are accepting multiple formats including PDF. They have not given a specific format for this, right? So whatever format that you have your document in, you should be able to upload that document. And once you've done, you come to the next screen wherein now because we had chosen SIBM Pune, as you can see here, it has added MBA SIBM Pune. It is showing 1000 that you need to pay, and current status is not paid. Okay, so it will show you that okay, you still have to pay 1000. The initial 2250 we had paid, but it will show you now that because you added SIBM Pune, you have to pay 1000. If I go back to that screen, let's say add one more program, and I come back to this screen, it will show that I have to pay 2000 rupees, right? So these are the things that you need to do to complete your application, and you can keep editing this. Okay, so as you saw, right, the drop down that is there or the checkboxes that are there for programs, you can come back and add those preferences at any point of time before a particular deadline. And what that particular deadline is, let's understand. So see, some of the colleges or some of the programs that are there as options, some of them have deadlines prior to SNAP conduct. Okay, so what you see is, look at the SNAP test dates, 8th, 15th and 21st December. The SNAP result is on 8 Jan 2025, right? Now look at SIBM Pune and SCMHRD. Both of them have given out the dates, the deadlines. You see this is 7 December, which means that even before SNAP is conducted, you have to complete your application for SIBM Pune, SCMHRD Pune by coming back to this dashboard that we just saw, selecting SIBM Pune, selecting SCMHRD and making the payment that is necessary. Only then your application will go to SIBM Pune and SCMHRD. Okay, so this is before SNAP is conducted. Now there are some institutes where they have not yet announced the dates. So I was checking some of the websites, SIIB, SIDTM, SIMS, they have not yet released at the time of recording this video, they have not released when the deadline is going to be. If you look at some of them, for example in SIOM, it's 7 Jan 2025, but that is a day prior compared to the result date, right? Because the result is on 8 Jan, the 7 Jan is the deadline for SIOM. So if you want to apply, you have to apply before your SNAP result is announced. And finally, if you look at colleges such as SICSR or SSBF, some of these institutes have deadline after SNAP result is announced. So you'll still have time to make these applications, but for some of these, you'll have to take a call as early as possible. So two important points. You need to apply to the respective institute before the deadline of that respective institute. Okay, and these dates are going to be different. Of course, with IMS, if you have subscribed to the channel and if you're there on Telegram channels, we keep sending all these updates. So I would suggest that all of you subscribe to the Telegram channel. All the relevant links, whether it is application of SNAP or any other link, you'll find it in the description. Okay, so do that. You'll keep getting updates from our side, and that will help you. So the above mentioned dates can change. So don't think that okay, these dates are going to remain as they are. This is what it is at this point of time when I'm recording this video. But things can always change. They can extend some of these or they can change it. We never know. And that is why keep checking the institute website as well. Okay. So with this, we have completed the discussion on how do you fill the SNAP application and then apply to the respective institutes. that fall under symbiosis. Okay, I hope this video has helped. If you have any questions, let us know through the comment section. Start your application using the link that is given in the description, and I wish all of you all the best. If there are any questions, drop in a comment, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, do it right away. Thank you so much. I'll see all of you in the next video.